Welcome to this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton. I'm your host, Dr. Marshall Kamina. Joining me today is Mayor Jack Balls from the city of Pleasanton. And boy, we've been looking forward to seeing you. You're probably the busiest guy I know of all the mayors in this Tri Valley.
Well, I think they're all retired, and I'm not, so it's a little busy because I have a job. But yeah, it's been busy. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, it's absolutely our privilege. What topics might you like to cover today?
Yeah, so in Mayor's Choice, I've got a few things. Pleasanton and our Tri-Valley neighbor to the north, San Ramon, just got ranked number 1 and 2. San Ramon's number 1, Pleasanton's number 2 in the nation for quality of life, based upon a broad number of statistics, including health, education, and safety. It's such an honor to have things recognized for the work you do. And I know all of our Tri-Valley cities are working together to increase the quality of life, the quality of health, the quality of the education. We understand that we're a mega region, if you will, and we work better together. But San Ramon being number 1, Pleasanton being number 2, it's a true honor to be on the national scale like that. As mayor, I'm really proud of it. I've only been mayor about 6 months, so I want to just mention that a lot of work occurred before I got here, right? I just happened to be here at this time, but between staff and good leadership in the past, really working to educate our community, support our schools, support our crossing guards, support our quality of life with parks and open space, which we saw during COVID. So all of that came together, and it's really just nice to be recognized. So city staff's taken a little bit of a roundabout flag waving, if you will, that they've done such good work, and I just want to uplift that. So that's kind of my first thing.
Yeah, but many would say you're being too modest.
No, I am just here for 6 months. So while I've been, actually, I guess I've been working for about 16 years as an appointed elected. So maybe I turn it into, we need good leaders, and so get involved, right? The way Pleasanton has the quality of life, and Livermore and any of our Tri-Valley cities, is because people get involved and lift their voice. And I really want to mention that it is better outcomes when we work together, so that we're not isolating or splitting off or dividing our community because there's a minority voice. It's when we can accommodate the minority of voice into a solution for all. So join a committee or commission, get involved, raise your voice, come to a meeting. All of that matters for our quality of life, in my opinion. I can't uplift it enough. I wasn't going to go fully into that, but the second couple of things I'll cover is that Pleasanton just had its first Weekend on Main event on June 7th and 8th. It started on the 6th, which is Friday night, but 7th and 8th. And,
yeah, I noticed they're just cleaning up about over now.
Yeah, it was super popular. We had Hot Rod Row with the Hot Rods, and we handed out a Mayor's Choice Award. We handed out a Police Chiefs Award, and we handed out a Battalion Fire Chiefs Award, as well as a PDA Award for cars that each of us respectively picked. I'll just mention I picked a 65 Mustang, gorgeous, turquoise powder blue color, very original everything, except the engine was a 66. So it was a little different, but it was a gorgeous car.
You said it was a 65?
It was a 65 Mustang.
Well, that's basically the first year.
And it had the ponies in the seats, in the leather, and all of the original seat belts. I wasn't born yet, so it was a very impressive car. But to think about that now, that car is 50 years old. That's just crazy, 50 plus. So that was one thing we did, and then I know I'm taking a bit of time, but a couple of other real nice highlights is that the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department, in combination with the city of Livermore, we manage the fire department. We had 9 new firefighters come onto the ranks, as well as 2 promotions internally. So we attended that ceremony for those pinnings of the badge. You see these young families and you see their aspirations to become a firefighter and just the emotion pouring over them to get pinned.
But can they cook?
Yeah, we'll find out, or maybe we'll find out at the chili cook-off in a few weeks here that Supervisor Halbert puts on. And then we had Cone with a Cop, which is our kind of tried and true, and thank you to Meadowlark Dairy for contributing the ice cream. From what I understand, we had over nearly 3,000 ice creams handed out. to our community members.
They do that in a half hour.
Yeah, they do that normally. In fact, we are still working on the traffic patterns. I know that's probably something people want me to mention, but yeah, Comb with a Cop gets our community together was an outstanding, resounding success. So a lot of great things going on to kick off summer, in my opinion, for Pleasanton.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'd like to go directly to, this is a hard thing for me to say being a Cal grad, Stanford Healthcare. And Stanford Healthcare Tri-Valley houses Pleasanton's sole emergency department, and I must say it was a sole emergency department for a long time until Kaiser came in Dublin. Unfortunately for Livermore, we had the sole emergency department because we had the only hospital, and the Pleasanton board promised us that we would retain our emergency room until the day you moved in Pleasanton. At any rate, the Pleasanton Planning Commission has now unanimously voted to have an expansion to the new East Wing. It's become so popular. And I wonder if you'd comment on, and especially with regard to major earthquake or natural disasters, or what plans and so on are in the next steps.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. You know, so we know in Pleasanton and actually, frankly, in California, that the population is aging, healthcare changes and needs are changing, and so it's it's very exciting to see investment in that area and those for our residents of any healthcare provider. But Stanford Healthcare Tri-Valley, by far, you know, we're very proud that it's here in Pleasanton, but we understand it serves the region overall. So yeah, they're going to be building an East Wing. I've got some facts here. It's approximately 66,000 square feet, consisting of 3-story hospital. So it will actually be, if you're looking at the Stanford, depending on where you're at, it'll be kind of more towards the car dealerships for people to orientate themselves, kind of further up our Santa Rita Road towards the freeway. The first floor is going to provide the much needed capacity for the emergency department. They are currently operating over capacity, which has actually been a little bit of our challenge with ambulance response times. We've had queuing either there or at the scene, and we're trying to get ambulance response times lower. The second floor will have the additional inpatient beds, and then the third floor will provide lab and pharmacy space. So they've let me know to say that the design is very consistent with the brick cladding, the windows, and all of that of the existing building. So it'll look very similar. It'll have a very consistent look. But then they're installing an emergency water and wastewater storage tanks, rooftop mechanical equipment, additional parking, and then modifications to the existing campus loop.
Okay.
Yeah, they expect it's going to take about 4.5 years to actually get it built. And a lot of that is unfortunately because of just when you build a hospital, the statewide health planning and development group has to approve it as well. So there's a lot there to get us there, but it's a great addition. It's going to serve our residents, our aging population, as well as everyone of any age, right? And having emergency care facilities here, I know that, you know, Fremont basically got the trauma center when the county decided to open up another trauma center. Mm-hmm. So this really does help bolster our healthcare providers in the area.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well.
On the next topic, I'd like to refer to it as a joint powers agreement. And at one of the meetings recently, the council voted on amending the JPA with the Pleasanton Unified School District. It's in place for middle school gymnasiums in Pleasanton. I'm not sure that the general public is all that clear on what the ins and outs are there, and wonder if you can help us out.
Yeah, so, you know, in great foresight, the Pleasanton School District as well as the City of Pleasanton have partnered together to really try to fully utilize facilities. And we understand that when the school is in use, the school year is underway, the school needs to be able to use those facilities. But when the school year ends and we're in the summer period, you know, then what are we doing with them? And so, you know, we understand how capital intensive buildings are. So it's really exciting to see that Pleasanton and the Pleasanton Unified School District have partnered for 3 middle school gymnasiums. And basically, when they're after hours of the school year or during the summer, the City of Pleasanton will program them out, right, for events, for volleyball, basketball, camps. And so it all it just helps keep the building utilized. It helps keep it where there's eyes on it. In case there was vandalism or something, it can be in good working order. But it really helps us kind of model being efficient with the taxpayer dollar. I don't think the taxpayer cares too much if it goes one pocket or the other. They sometimes do confuse the school board with the council, but they want their services and they want their children taken care of. And so this is an excellent partnership that we have, one of many, similar to like our school resource officers that are provided by the city for our students, for our schools. So yeah, really excited to see that pass. I think it's on the agendas, so we'll see how it goes, but I don't expect any problems.
I was absolutely surprised, and pleasantly so, because this is a real chance to have that cooperation.
Yeah, and it forms the basis for other, anywhere we can help each other out. And we look at it at crossing guards. There's a proposal to work together on crossing guards, working to see where they are, who's going to take care of them, because we are all budget constrained, but we need to be very prudent with the taxpayer dollar on it. And so I think we've found some really good options going to be presenting themselves in the next week or two here.
Well, as a former recreation commissioner, if I may call you, I just thought you'd look forward to it.
I do, and my son is now much older and doesn't use as much, but it is really neat to go out and see some of these parks that you had a hand in helping to come around the way they are. So, yeah.
I can tell by the smile you're very proud. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back on this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton in just a moment. Welcome back to this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton. We are here talking with Mayor Jack Balls from the city of Pleasanton. Fire and heat are the two words at hand here, and summer's coming. That means heat and possible fire. How can the public help in combating this, and will there be cooling rooms available, cooling zones?
Yeah, great question, and very, very prudently relevant right now as we go into the summer season, although we've had this mild weather for a little bit here. But the first and foremost, I want to make sure people understand, it's been something I've said pretty often, is make a plan. Make a plan for your family right now. Make sure you have phone numbers. Make sure you have chargers. Make sure you think about what you're going to do. Have that bug out bag ready, and water, so that if there is a kind of a mass scale urgent emergency and resources are delayed, you and your family can have the resources you need for a day or two, 3 days. That's, I think, where the new recommendation is. And the City of Pleasanton website, as well as I know the Livermore and the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department, has a whole page on that. But the thing that we have been working on is the fire maps have been changing at the state level. I'm sure everyone's been aware of it. Fire insurance is a big topic, especially out of the LA or Southern California fires.
Or renewals.
Yeah, and renewals and the renewal price. And so you've got to have defensible space around your home now. And that's kind of the new thing that we're trying to make sure our residents are aware of. We all love the roses right up under the window and the pie sitting in it, and we get the Americana view, but you need to be thinking more realistically about what that represents for your home, right? Clear out the tree branches on the roof, the leaf litter from your gutters. Make sure you're getting that brush away. Use mulch, use things like that. And so they're really trying to emphasize that within that first 30 feet around your home, you want to remove all dead plants, any grasses, any tall weeds. You want to get that all done and taken down. And then I'm finding a few rats in my, not cellar, I don't have a cellar, but in the crawl space under my house. So keep the trees away from your house, because they can run up those. So really work to keep that defensible space around your home, right? The new shale or shake roofs are really good at repelling the fire for a while, right? But it's when it gets on the edge or gets in the lip of the leaf litter in the gutter or something like that. So that's kind of part one. And then the other thing that we've seen is that people will store, their barbecue with their propane tank under the eave of their home or right up next to their home. So think about that. Maybe that shouldn't be right. A propane tank's a pretty explosive device if it got hot. And so, it's interesting to think about it in an urban setting. We typically don't think in an urban setting, but let's not forget Paradise. Let's not forget Sonoma's fires from the past, right? These were, I mean, Sonoma, very, very standard city community, less rural.
Yeah.
And so we need to be thinking about it here to have that defensible space to keep that area clear. But I'll just kind of also re-mention, go and look on our Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department website. It will talk about all of this and preparedness, not only for fire, but any other type of emergency, earthquake. And we had the big rains and we had a flood, so we were flipping the whole script to flood. So that's part one. And then in terms of cooling centers, this has actually been a topic in light of Pleasanton's budget conversations and concerns about our library reduced hours, which is something being considered and talked about with the council. And a couple of things is that our senior center in town, as well as our library, do function as cooling centers. They will both continue to do that, principally during their open hours or their standard hours. The senior center hours are not being altered under the current proposed budget. But
that's going to be a relief.
Yeah, and the library is, and we're trying to figure out how to adjust that. We're currently, I have the package, but I haven't read it yet to know what the new proposal is. But there might be some hour reductions. But I just want people to know that if we did get into some of those days, and even though it might be a closed library day, we have the staff that could come on board to open the library as a cooling center. But that being said, the senior center will continue to function as a cooling center during this heat. And the key is, right now, while your air conditioner repairman is not too busy, consider getting your air conditioner serviced right now, right? And then the last part I'll mention is electricity has to be reliable. I know many of our residents in Pleasanton on the west side have been facing a lot of outages of the PG&E equipment. The council has been pretty focused on this. As chair of AVA Community Energy, I've been focused on it because we need to have reliable energy to be able to have those seniors have their cooling or their life support devices.
It was a big issue last year.
Yeah, and I don't know if we've gotten too much further in the investment on PG&E on that, but it is not something that's dropped off the plate. We are trying to really encourage investment in Pleasanton to address those challenges with PG&E reliability.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
The City of Pleasanton has recently announced the launch of its new highly anticipated library and recreational outreach vehicle. Please tell us about what you're calling Zippy.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty excited about this. Zippy is basically our bookmobile. It's debuted during the library summer reading kickoff event that we had just recently. I'm going off script. It's cute. It's 28 feet long. I was joking that we need to water it so it grows into a bigger bookmobile, because when I was a kid, the Alameda bookmobile was a very large school bus that had been converted. It was painted white, but it was huge. It was a big, big bus. Well, just so everyone knows, this one's 28 feet, kind of looks like an Amazon delivery truck that you would see, but painted beautifully. And yeah, like I said, it needs to be watered to grow up to be a big bookmobile. The reason we did this is because it came through grant funding. It really was paid through a lot of the grants, and it really also needs to be able to be driven by regular licensed individuals who are trained for that vehicle. So those bigger buses that we remember from our past, they had to have a special license, and it really would have made it more difficult for Pleasanton. So we're moving to this smaller Zippy. It's pretty cool. I've seen it myself. It's got a wheelchair lift, Wi-Fi, a sound system, a 55-inch LCD monitor or screen that can be displayed on the outside. It's got an awning. It's got the books in it. It's got its own collection. And it's really to get the community, reading and programming and engagement further out to some of our communities. So I'm pretty excited about it. I was just looking to see if there's something, a California State Library grant in 22 helped us pay for it, and then it was really well designed, and it kind of matches the library's new website. People can see Zippy if they haven't seen it already. I've got some dates. June 26th at Cottinger Village. Mm-hmm. July 11th at the Concert in the Park, which will be the very first concert in the park in our newly designed Lions Wayside Park at 7 p.m. And then July 24th at Ken Mercer Sports Park. So Zippy is out and about. Cutest little bookmobile you've seen, in my opinion.
But as mayor, I just know you've got to be very, very proud of your library. It's quite unique.
Yeah, and I am, and I'm trying to figure out how we can continue to provide those services in light of the budget challenges we face. And so I just want to make sure people really realize that this Zippy came about from grants, and that's how we want to use and utilize it. So we're really trying to minimize the impacts of the potential challenges we have to reduce the library hours with this. And it doesn't offset. I know people will say it doesn't, but at least it is something to try to minimize the impacts. And that's really what we're trying to do in light of the challenges we face.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are there any other items you'd like to discuss with us?
Yeah, so I'll start off by saying that, like I mentioned earlier, Lions Wayside Park, Lions Wayside and DeLucchi Park, located on 1st Street in Pleasanton, are redesigned, and we are now looking at the ribbon cutting. So the ribbon cutting for the new bandstand, the redesigned bandstand and the park will be Friday, June 27th, right before, at 1:30 p.m. So residents can come down for the ribbon cutting. And we're doing that so that it can kick off and be ready for our 4th of July.
There you go.
And so we're going to have our, I think it's the Cool Tones Big Band doing it's the Pleasanton Community Band. I should not misstate. The Pleasanton Community Band will be kicking off 4th of July on the new stage, the first kickoff. I can't think of a better way to open a new park for the community except on 4th of July with your local community band. That starts at noon, so you can still go to other communities for the 4th of July parade and make it back to Pleasanton for the noon concert. And then the next Friday, so again, 3 Fridays in a row, the next Friday, July 11th, the City of Pleasanton, in partnership with the Pleasanton Downtown Association, will be hosting the very first Concert in the Park, Return of the Concert in Park series. That starts at 7 p.m. We'll have Zippy there, as I've just said, and we're going to have a lot of booths set up. And it really, I hope, becomes a real big community event to come together and kind of celebrate some of the wins of Pleasanton. Getting named the 2nd best quality of life city, getting Zippy out, getting the park redone. We have a lot going on, and I hope our community knows that despite the wobble with the financials, we are a strong community, and we're really proud.
You tell how proud when you can go downtown and see a city have pristine lawn, and it looks gorgeous.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Don't you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you, Mayor, for being here and updating us. I appreciate it so very much. And thank you for watching this edition of Mayor's Report Pleasanton. Join us for the next episode of Mayor's Report right here on Tri-Valley TV. I'm Dr. Marshall Camina, and I thank you for joining us.